just a few more minutes of words, and then you can dive into your main course. As I mentioned, I have served as county chair for 4 two-year terms, and I want to serve one more term. Because I want to get us through the midterms in 2026 and keep strong majorities at the state and national levels. I want to make sure that President Trump has a full, unencumbered 4 years to make America great again. Carol Wielden will run with me as treasurer again. She is fantastic. Just a quick anecdote, she got a letter from the State Board of Elections saying that she had filed a second quarter report late. In about 30 seconds, she sent back the receipt that the guy had signed the day after it was due. So unbelievable. She's unbelievable. Carol will run with me. Bill Britton will run as secretary, and Miriam Chu as vice chair. In case you didn't know it, Miriam is the mother of Emily Stack, so there's good blood in that family. I also have 5 great at-large members of the executive committee that have agreed to serve. Please join me in thanking the retiring Vice Chair Bill DeMastis and Secretary Bill Schultes. Please stand, gentlemen. Our county convention will be on March 22nd. That's about a month from now. We had our precinct meetings over this past weekend and the weekend before, and we had really good turnouts for all the precinct meetings, and I appreciate that. At the county convention, you will elect your GOP officers. That is either me or somebody else. I have appointed a distinguished nominating committee consisting of former GOP Chair John Rowerdink, President of the North Carolina Federation of Republican Women, Kay Wilt, and our Sheriff, Ronnie Fields. If you are interested in running for any of these positions, please be in touch with them. Our state convention will be held in June in Greensboro, and in November this year, you will elect your municipal leaders. You can do your research for those nonpartisan elections on our website, moregop.com. Elaine Bologna would like to read a quote from Abraham Lincoln.
Hey, y'all. Shh. We're all here for the right purpose. We all have the same purpose in the GOP Moore County objectives, yes? Yes. At the end of my precinct letters that I send out, I quote Lincoln from 1849, and here we go. Keep this in mind when we always put the people that are representing us in our county at the headset of your vote, of your support. Quote, and this is Lincoln, organize the whole state so that every Whig can be brought to the polls. Divide the county into small districts and appoint in each a subcommittee. Make a perfect list of all the voters and ascertain with certainty for whom they will vote. Keep a constant watch on the doubtful voters and have them talked to by those in whom they have the most confidence. And on election day, see that every Whig is brought to the polls. And that was from Abraham Lincoln on February 21, 1849. We do that in Moore County, and we will continue to be the best county in the state of North Carolina.
I guess Roger didn't find what I was looking for, so enjoy your dinner. Thank you.
Hey, this is your Congressman, Richard Hudson. First, I want to say thank you to Chairman Tom Beto and each and every one of you for all you do to support Republicans and grow our conservative movement. My staff are there tonight. If you'll please stand up and wave. Georgia, Tanner, Jessica, and Cam. Please get to know them and let them know if there are ever any issues we can work on. It is truly morning in America again and the beginning of a new era. With control of the Senate, the House, and with President Donald Trump back in the White House, Republicans have a generational opportunity to change the direction of our country. President Trump has really hit the ground running to fix the failures of the Biden-Harris administration and fulfill the promises that he made to you. From ending wokeness in our military, to replacing disastrous open border programs, to rolling back anti-American energy policies, to shutting down the waste in the USAID, one thing is clear: America is back. I'm working closely with President Trump and my Republican colleagues in Congress to advance our America First agenda. United together, we will lower costs, create jobs, and unleash American energy dominance. We will secure our borders, enforce our laws, and keep our communities safe. We will save taxpayer dollars and make the federal government work better for you. And we're already delivering results. We passed the Lake and Riley Act, and it was the first bill President Trump signed into law. This important bill will help make America safe again by ensuring criminal illegals are permanently detained and deported from our country. It is more than just a piece of legislation. It is a return to common sense and the rule of law. As your representative, I'm also continuing to fight to ensure your Second Amendment freedoms are protected. I kicked off this Congress by reintroducing H.R. 38, the Constitutional Concealed Carry Reciprocity Act. Your right to self-defense does not disappear when crossing invisible state lines, and my bipartisan legislation guarantees it. President Trump is committed to signing national concealed carry reciprocity legislation, and I look forward to working with him and my colleagues to get this job done. There's a lot of work to get done, but I have confidence and a renewed hope that America's best days are ahead. You gave President Trump and me a mandate to turn our country around and enact real change. Rest assured that is exactly what we're going to do. So thank you all again for your support. While I wish Renee and I could be home with you tonight, I am so grateful for what you're doing for our conservative movement. Together with President Trump, we will make America great again. God bless you. Good night.
Moore County Republicans gathered Monday afternoon to commemorate the swearing-in of President Donald Trump.
Exciting that we have today. I mean, we've been waiting for this for so long, and it just went off beautifully.
They wanted an event filled with excitement, camaraderie, and the spirit of democracy, regardless of political party.
I think it is extremely important that we're all on the same page.
Of the 60 inaugural ceremonies, Tom Beto remembers the last 20 ceremonies and 13 presidents.
I'm 78, and the first one I remember was Eisenhower, and I've been to 3 of them.
He says every inauguration is the reminder that people are crucial to the success of a democracy, especially the ones in rooms like this.
These are mostly people that volunteered during the election process. They could be volunteers for this office. They could be working in the polls. They could be out canvassing. These are all the people that made this possible today.
Inaugurations represent a new era and are an opportunity for a president to share their vision for their administration. President Trump's speech included mention of being one people.
I love that because we are, and if we start thinking that way instead of what separates us, it's going to be a lot better country.
Beto believes it's a powerful demonstration to people not just in the U.S., but everywhere around the world.
It's a transfer of power without any kind of revolution, and it's very important that we do it right.
Donald Trump is just the second president to be elected to 2 non-consecutive terms.
He made a lot of promises, you saw, and maybe not all of them are going to happen, but a lot of them will. He surrounded himself with good people, young people in the administration, and so I'm very, very optimistic that it's going to be a great 4 years.
America, you're calling. I can hear you calling me. You are calling me to be true to thee, true to thee. I will be. Oh, America, no weeping, let there be no wounded heart. I will keep you in my keeping till there'll be a new start, and I will answer you, and I will take your hand and lead you to the sun, and I will stand by you, do all that I can do, and we will be as one. Oh, America, I hear you from your prairies to the sea, from your mountains grand and all through this land. You are beautiful to me. Oh, America, you're calling. I can hear you calling me. You are calling me to be true to thee, true to thee. I will be, and I will stand by you, do all that I can do, and we will be at one. Oh, America, you're calling. I can hear you calling me. You are calling me to be.
President is no more. Now he belongs to the ages.
Fondly do we hope, fervently do we pray, that this mighty scourge of war may speedily pass away. Yet if God wills that it continue until all the wealth piled by the bondman's 250 years of unrequited toil shall be sunk, and until every drop of blood drawn with the lash shall be paid by another drawn with the sword. As was said 3,000 years ago, so still it must be said, the judgments of the Lord are true and righteous altogether. with malice toward none, with charity for all, with firmness in the right. As God gives us to see the right, let us strive on to finish the work we are in, to bind up the nation's wounds, to care for him who shall have borne the battle, and for his widow and his orphan, to do all which may achieve and cherish a just and a lasting peace among ourselves and with all nations.
For me to have to ask for help, it took a lot, but I knew I needed it. So I searched tirelessly one afternoon, and finally I came across the Military Missions in Action website. It was like a brief questionnaire at the bottom, and I completed it and sent it in. And the very next morning, I received a phone call from Miss Karen, and she was so nice. And she just instructed me to complete this form she sent me for, just a list of items that could possibly be supplied to me and my family. And I did it. And a while later, I received a phone call, like, we have a date that we can deliver to you. We didn't forget. And I'm like, I'm very patient, so it's fine. So when they delivered the items, I was overwhelmed with emotions, and I fought my tears, and I'm like, because here are these people that don't know me and my children. I mean, they have no reason to help because it's not their responsibility, right? But I was just so grateful, and they were there to help. I mean, they didn't just bring it and drop it off. I mean, they were in my house walking around installing stuff for me. So, and I mean, they were in there petting my dogs and stuff. It was just...
Good evening, everyone. I hope you're enjoying your dinner. I'm Miriam Chu, and it's my honor to introduce our guest speaker tonight, someone who actually needs no introduction, but I would like to take a moment to acknowledge a very special guest in our audience, without whose help I never would have met Kevin. He is a 2-time Emmy Award winner, director, special effects makeup honor, and I'm honored to call him my friend. Dean Jones, would you please stand up? It was on the set of a movie being made in Burlington, North Carolina that I first met Kevin Sorbo, and I hope you will go see his movie, Another Life, when it debuts later this spring. This man has a list of accomplishments that is amazing. I know you all have remembered him from Hercules, which was the most watched TV show in the world. Following that success, Mr. Sorbo had the lead role as Captain Dylan Hunt in Gene Roddenberry's Andromeda. He has made over 80 movies, most notably What If?, God's Not Dead, Soul Surfer. And how many of you remember seeing him as the preacher in Reagan? Yes. Let There Be Light, Miracle in East Texas. He also appeared on 2.5 Men, Dharma and Greg, Sight, Hawaii Five-0, The O.C. He has produced and narrated many documentaries. And Kevin has released his memoir, True Strength, which is available for sale here at the front desk. Don't forget about it as you go out. He also has his children's books and DVDs. And would you all please watch this short video, and then Kevin will come up. Thank you.
Kevin Sorbo is an actor, author.
I'm going to keep fighting a good fight.
Kevin, great to have you on the program.
To bestow the Champion of Freedom Award to our very own Hercules, Kevin Sorbo.
I think we peaked at masculine male entertainment and pop culture with Hercules and Kevin Sorbo. I think it was all downhill after that.
Joining us, the fabulous Kevin Sorbo, yeah!
Has anyone ever known a good person named Kevin?
Kevin Sorbo introduced me to his podiatrist.
What are we going to use to power the grid, Jessica? Not Kevin Sorbo's strength and masculinity.
I was also one step closer to an even bigger move. This is a scrawny kid version of Kevin Sorbo and young Hercules.
You're going to leave me all alone here with Kevin Sorbo?
It's so weird to me what's going on in the country right now.
I am so sick and tired of hearing about the new normal.
I'm going to keep fighting a good fight and keep speaking for the truth.
Friends, we need your help. We need the church body to move, to support the culture you desire.
People are fighting back and people are starting to wake up. As you know, our founding fathers were men of faith and they were brilliant men, and here we are trying to destroy the country through education.
We need an alternate economy. Quit supporting these insane woke entertainment companies. What we feed our brains as entertainment is often what manifests in the real world. And who runs the culture? Well, that would be Hollywood and the mainstream media.
And you see the agenda that they have in the movies they're pushing out.
So what can we do about that?
We got to fight.
I want to do a movie that my kids can be proud of.
Movies that have hope, love, redemption, faith, laughter.
Proving that movies that reflect traditional moral values can be big box office hits. Kevin Sorbo.
Look, I made it, came through with the help of God, with the help of her. And don't wrestle with God. He wins every bloody time. You will not beat him.
People don't realize what Kevin Sorbo walked away, and that's the entire character of a man.
My dream journal of Kevin Sorbo.
Do not hide your light under bushel, but raise it high to lead the nation. When pulp culture goes after me off the idiots from Hollywood, I take that as a compliment. I want to thank you all for that wonderful welcome. This is what I expect my kids to do every time I come home. I make them stand up. And I want to thank all you ladies and gentlemen for being here tonight. And if I just use your wrong pronouns, I don't care. Just so you know. So, since we're here at a golf course, and I'm a golf nut, I probably play 200 rounds a year, so I love the sport. I've golfed Pinehurst many times through the years. It's been a while since I've been back, so it's good to be here. I made a good connection with Tom here, so I'm going to make sure that he gets me. I'm going to bring my friends, and we'll definitely hang out here. So this is sort of what kind of works for it. So just so in case you guys didn't know, Jesus and Moses have a regular golf game every Monday. And they usually bring different biblical characters along with them, and one can't make it. He said, I'm just too busy, too jammed up. The other one says, I'm running late, I'll be there. You guys just go ahead and tee off. So they get to the first hole. They play the tips, of course. So it's 480-yard par 4. It's a dogleg right around the lake. Now Moses said, Jesus, he tells him, hey, I had a really good warm-up round. I'm gonna go for the green. I'm gonna clear this lake, and it's about 390 to clear the lake. So Moses gets up there and whacks it. It's a pretty good shot. Goes in the water. But he's Moses. He parts the lake. Walks up, walks down there, hits it up about 20 feet away. He's got a chance for a birdie still. Jesus goes for it too. Better shot than Moses, but he's not going to make it. But it lands, the ball stays on top of the water. Jesus walks on water. Gets up there, hits it within 3 feet. He's got a little kick in for a birdie. Sounds great. They do their putts, they're walking off. They get a big whistle from behind. Their third partner finally showed up. They wave him up. He's going for it too. Better shot than both of them, but it's not going to make it. Chisholm hits the water, this big old tortoise comes up. It goes off the shelves high in the air. An eagle grabs it in talons, drops it in the hole for a hole in one. Moses looks at Jesus and says, I hate playing golf with your dad. Yep. Can you imagine if God was woke? I mean, suppose, like, today's woke God was unforgiving, he's judgmental, he's hell-bent on destroying your life, your career, your relationships, your life, everything, family. But imagine an all-powerful wokey with no compassion, no understanding, no grace whatsoever. Thank God God is not woke. You know what? Instead of being ready to cancel, is ready to condemn, God is eager to forgive, to reconcile, restore. Redemption with God is always on the table. God's attitude to a very imperfect humanity is one of forgiveness and love. God wants what's best for us, but I'll tell you one thing. He doesn't want to destroy us, but he wants us to wake the hell up. I'll tell you that much. And we got to stand up. We cannot let fear control our lives. Government's favorite weapon is fear. You saw it played out in COVID. Fear is how they want to control you, and they've been doing it in every government across this world. By the way, the American flag right there, that's my pride flag. Okay? Pride gets a month? Really? We have Pride a month? What are we celebrating? Have you seen the parades these people do? And we give them a month. We give our moms 1 day. We give our dads 1 day. We give our vets 1 day. It's unbelievable to me. I mean, Tom beat me to the punch because I'm the one who usually asks all the veterans to please stand up. I'm going to ask them all to stand up one more time, along with police officers and first responders. Please stand up one more time for us all. God bless you. God bless you what you all do. I stayed standing for my kid brother. My kid brother is Lieutenant Colonel Scott Sorbo, 23, is in the Army. He's my hero as well. So an atheist college professor, I'm sorry, that's redundant. A college professor, he asked his class, can you touch God? Very nervous 18-year-old philosophy class students look around. Well, no, you can't touch God. He says, can you see God? And I said, no, sir, you can't see God. And this professor says, then you must conclude there is no God. The student in the back of the class raises his hand, calls on the student. He stands up. He says, sir, can you touch or see your brain? Well, then you must, conclude, sir, that you have no brain. So the last 4 years has given us so many politicians running around without their brains, right? It's really unbelievable to me. The joke's on us because we put them in office. I know, well, none of us in this group put them in office. I know that. We know that for a fact. Because you all suffer from common sense. You all know that 2 + 2 actually does equal 4 and will always equal 4. And you voted with, common sense. And because facts and reality should play a part in our lives. And truth is very, very important. So you voted, but, the trouble is we probably don't know if your vote's counted. You want to talk voter fraud? I got a problem with that. And I think we all do. That is not racist to show an ID. It is. Politics is just crazy. By the way, do you all know where the word politics came from? Poly actually is Latin for the word many. And ticks, of course, ticks are blood-sucking parasites. So there we go. Sorry, people running for office. You hear it all, I know. Thank God Donald Trump is in office. Thank God. I met the president in 2005. We played 3 days of golf together. There's a tournament they do up in Lake Tahoe every year. It's mostly athletes they bring in, but occasionally they bring us actors and other people. And I was paired with Donald Trump, along with Jesse Ventura, for 3 days. It was very interesting. And a very interesting lunches after golf with him. And I told him, I said, Donald, because then he wasn't president. This was 2005. I said, my problem is, and I've always said this, that I want a businessman to run America because it is a business. I don't want a politician. I did not know 10 years later he was going to be that businessman to throw his hat in the ring to come out and do it. So during that election, I got invited actually to the inauguration back in 2016 as well. Hadn't seen him in a while. 2020 is rolling around. And he was running again, of course. And this was sometime in like in early May, so he was still president for another 7, 8 months, whatever it was. And I did a lot of tweeting. And during that 2020 campaign, he retweeted me like about a dozen times. My tweets are very entertaining. I hope some of you follow me on, it's K Sorbs, go to K Sorbs on X. And so I got invited to Mar-a-Lago, and Monica Crowley invited my wife and myself. And we're sitting there, and he came walking, and it was during that second BS stuff about the Russian collusion, right? Heads should roll for that, but that's another story. He comes walking in, the place is packed at Mar-a-Lago, and I'm like 5, 6 people deep back. And he sees me, and he goes, "Kev, love your tweets." So we're sitting there eating. About a half hour later, his assistant walks up. "The president really enjoyed golfing with you. He'd love to golf with you again." And I said, "Well, heck yeah." Gave him my number. Well, a couple weeks later, I get a call at night, Saturday night, and it says, "The president expects you to be at Trump International by 9 a.m. tomorrow." So I walk into the bedroom. My wife's reading her book. It's Saturday night. It was Mother's Day the next day, by the way. And I said, my Mother's Day gift to you, sweetheart, is me golfing with the president." She had no problem with that. She had no problem with that. And we had a wonderful time. And do we have a picture? I think I got a picture of one. I've golfed with him a number of times since. Is there a picture popping up at all? I gave you one. We got one? It's coming. I trust it. You didn't know when I was going to do this, so. Come on. Come on, baby. So I got to tell you, when we golf, he's got 6 Secret Service guys with him, 1 in each cart. 2 guys go ahead the next hole. Those are the guys that sell the gun coming through the fence at Trump International, right? 2 stay with, 2 stay behind. And so the reason is obviously the guys in front to make sure everything's clear, but the other reason is to get people the heck out of the way, because he does 18 holes in about 2.5 hours with 4 people, which is awesome. I love playing fast. But this is what he does. We tee off on that hole. The people are maybe waiting for the second shot. They're in the rough down a couple hundred yards. He goes up to every one of those people, gets out of the cart, shakes all their hands individually, thanks them for being there, says, "Have a great round. We'll be out of your way in a hurry, and I hope to see you guys in the clubhouse for lunch afterwards." You think anybody other president would do that? No. He does it every time. Every single time. Before he announced it, if you all remember, Hollywood loved him. Get him on Oprah, get him on The View. You saw me in The View. I did 5 times in The View. The last time I was on it, I got into it with Joy, which is a totally wrong name for her. And it was on that show where the taxes were brought up, and I said it's ridiculous that we don't have no say where our taxes go. We know to spend our money better in government. She says, "Well, we should pay more." And right there on national TV, I said, "Well, you know what? You work you come here an hour before, you work 1 hour and leave. You work less than 3 hours a day. You're making $6 million a year. You should feel guilty being a socialist. You should give that money away." Surprisingly, I wasn't invited back again. She couldn't look at me. She was totally, totally afraid of me. It's awesome. Okay, a little history about me and how I ended up to where I am today, how I'm even here, and how this whole thing happened. I chose acting as a career. I should say maybe it chose me. I was an 11-year-old kid on a school field trip to the famous Guthrie Theater. I grew up in Minneapolis. Yes, Minnesota sucks right now. Its politics are as bad as California's. It's unbelievable to me. The Guthrie Theater is a very famous theater. And I was in 5th grade. We took a field trip down to the Guthrie Theater, and it was The Merchant of Venice. It was Shakespeare. Now, remember, I was 11. I don't know what the hell they were saying. It was Shakespeare. I was 11, but I fell in love with acting right then and there. On the way home, I told my mom, who was one of the chaperones, I said, "Mom, I'm going to be an actor." And I got that little pat in the leg, my mom pat. She said, that's nice, dear. I'm sure she told my dad it was a phase. Don't worry about it if you won't do anything. But I was raised a good Lutheran kid, being a 2nd-generation Norwegian boy. Church every week, prayer at mealtimes, Bible readings with my mom. I had a strong Christian background, and thanks to my parents, that moral foundation was always there sort of with me. So during my 7 years when I did make it out to LA, pounding the audition pavement and battling the rejection, the traffic, the high taxes, and insane politics, and broken dreams, of course, of Los Angeles, I landed my breakout role in Hercules, The Legendary Journeys. And as you mentioned, Miriam, yes, it did become the most watched show in the world in 176 countries. Pardon the sin of pride, but how many actors can say they had a show that was the most watched show in the world? So that was kind of cool. But during that time in LA, there were plenty of opportunities for me to abandon my beliefs, politically and spiritually, of course, to be persuaded to move to the dark side. And trust me, they tried. They tried. It's a horrible city. It's worse now. I hate going back to it. Literally, I escaped 6 years ago, and I live in the free state of Florida. So it's been I left Newsom and we got DeSantis, so I think it was a pretty good trade as far as I was concerned. I think DeSantis' only mistake was when he ran against Trump, but that was a different story there too. I know, I don't know who talked him on that move. But with all that stuff in LA, I think the solid foundation that my parents instilled in me, I think held strong for me, which is more I can say for young people out there today. And once Hercules hit the TV screens around the world, of course, Universal Studios and the production team sometimes wanted to put in a little more colorful stories. And I was going, what are we doing? What do you want to do? And I said, why would we want to do that? So I won that battle because the things, they didn't want to go as insane as Disney and Netflix were doing, but it was things that I said, I said no, it's not going to happen. So we stayed away from it. And then tragedy struck for me at the height of my career and promoted my first big budget action movie. And did I say it was the most watched show in the world? Yeah, I think we covered that already. The story of that tragedy and recovery is in my book. It's called True Strength, my journey from Hercules to mere mortal and how nearly dying saved my life. That book really tells much about the resorting to and relying on my faith in the aftermath of a catastrophic loss. See, because I've had faith. I've always had faith. I just never needed faith until I was hit with this roadblock in my life. But as the Lord takes away, He also provides, because I already had met my future wife. And despite my misgivings and my handicaps, she still married me anyway. She got the worst part first, before the pastor said for better or for worse. Sam was my cheerleader through my exhausting battle for my return to health. That lasted nearly 3 years. She wrote a few of the chapters on True Strength, and of course she says they are the best chapters. And I'm not going to say that. She went to Duke, by the way, so I know I get some booze from North Carolina. But I don't know why she became an actor. She was a biochemical engineering major. I went to college to play football and meet girls. We went for totally different reasons. Just totally different reasons. But then as newlyweds, we discovered my disabilities weren't confined to my illness alone. And believe me, that was bad enough. Initially, my wife and I had a hard time conceiving children. So another long battle, and another book followed True Strength, which is called True Faith, Embracing Adversity to Live in God's Light. And True Faith, my wife and I both go into using faith as an invited guest into our home, into our lives as this invisible helper through hardship and heartbreak. And we tell the story of our struggles, both for children and, of course, our marriage, because nothing strains a marriage more when you're trying to conceive children and you're unable to. And later in the book, I talk more candidly about my transition from Hollywood action star with my two running series, Hercules and Andromeda, to producing, directing, of course, starring in faith-based movies. And it all started with what I consider really my first faith-based movie titled What If. Now, What If in my book is easily in my top 3 movies, and it's amazing. It was actually directed by Dallas Jenkins. He's doing a little thing called The Chosen right now. I got to go to Kansas City Thursday to speak, and on Friday I fly to Dallas because in that movie, we've had so many people now finding that movie, discovering it for the first time. We're getting so much feedback on it that Dallas and myself and John Ratzenberger, Cliff from Cheers, who's in that movie, Christy Swanson, we're going to do some ads promoting because they're going to re-release it 15 years later in the theaters this summer. So I hope you get a chance to see What If. It's a wonderful movie. So because of my books and the family and faith-based movies that I've been doing for the last 15 years, I'm now invited to speak all over the country. Mostly speaking, I do pro-life events, I do Christian education, political events such as this. It's because as a Christian conservative in Hollywood, I think people find it interesting how I could even keep working or get work in a city like that. Because, well, most people in Hollywood don't really... I should wear a t-shirt that says Hollywood loves me. Because... But I became very vocal about my politics and my faith. Does this show up? That took a long time. There we are. That's his famous 17th hole par 3 where he bragged about his $14 million waterfall he built there. And I said, for $14 million, Mr. President, I could have done like 4 or 5 really good movies. I still can't get him to invest. Anyway, but as I became more vocal about my politics and faith, Hollywood actually started to shut me out. My longtime agent manager called me into their offices. What's interesting, one's in Studio City, the other's in Beverly Hills. They're never together. This time they were together. I walked in going, what is this, an intervention or something? And they were very serious. And they said, yeah, the studios don't want to work with you anymore. I went, why? Well, because of the things you're posting. I go, well, you mean the truth? I said, I don't post hate. I don't post anger. Just post the facts. But I am really ground zero in Hollywood. I'm the first cancel culture victim 12 years ago, before it even became a term. And they booted me out. I became on the first really one that I know on their blacklist. If it wasn't for independent movies, I would not have a career right now. I would not have a career. Because I do my own movies through my own production company, Sorbo Studios. You can go to sorbostudios.com. Independence, like I'm doing with this gentleman right here, Dean Jones. I mean, amazing work, amazing stuff. So I'm so grateful for independent producers for doing the movies that they do, because they're making a big difference in this world. They're doing movies Hollywood used to do and won't do anymore. You know, in an industry that screams for tolerance and freedom of speech, those topics are one-way streets with these people, as you know. Freedom of speech is accepted only if you agree with what they say. And tolerance, that's kind of a laugh-out-loud moment right there, because you've seen the hypocrisy of that world played out every single day. And the crap they keep putting out there and trying to put on our kids. Between what Hollywood does and what our public education system, which is absolutely pathetic. And I grew up in the world, my dad taught for 35 years, 7th and 8th grade. But I'll tell you, during the 70s and 80s, when I was in school, teachers actually taught the things they were being paid to teach. Didn't have the, you know, Black Lives Matter flag up and the Pride flag up. We said the Pledge of Allegiance, but boy, things have changed. And what's real is, it's something I've come to realize is that politics is less polarizing than religion in Hollywood. They hate me for being a Christian. They hate me for being a conservative. It's like being a double leper to these people right there. It's unbelievable what we got to put up on. And why is Christianity so violently attacked? I don't get it. The country was founded on Christian values. The founding fathers. By the way, my jacket is founding fathers all over it. Got the Declaration of Independence, Potomac River, we got all kinds of good stuff in there. But it's crazy what we got to put up with these people. And their hatred. I don't know if you heard, there were like 90 Christians somewhere. It was somewhere in Africa. Did you see that story? 90 beheadings of Christians. Nothing on the mainstream media. Crickets. Crickets. If it was any other certain religions, it'd be big talk, right? It's weird. I recently saw this posted too. There's an actress. She's in the recent Wicked movie, I guess. Yeah. I can't remember her name. She's been cast in the Jesus Christ Superstar production. The title of the article said this. This is the title: Black queer female actress to portray Jesus in the remake of Jesus Christ Superstar. Yeah, true story. They know people aren't going to go to it. That's just the thing. They do it on purpose. But they know that we as Christians will take it. We'll complain about it, but what do we got to do about it? We got to fight back, and whatever way we can fight back. Stop watching Disney movies. Stop watching the crap they keep putting out there. Support independent movies. Can you imagine? They know they would never do this. You know they'd never do this. Can you imagine them say that same title? She's going to portray Muhammad in the movie? Would never happen. Because they know the repercussions would come very quickly against them. So here we are. This is what we got. And all these rioters out there right now, these, you know, the 20 million illegals they let with the border czar, Kamala Harris. You see the interview when she said, when they asked her, have you been to the border? She goes, no, I haven't been to Europe either. And then they don't, if I'm interviewing, I'd say, excuse me? 20 million people. Can you imagine if she got elected where we'd be right now? This would be a lost country. We'd be a lost country. I look at these people running around, stopping traffic on the 101 freeway in L.A., waving the Venezuelan flag and the Mexican flag. You know what? Wave the American flags, though we know that you really want to become an American. If you want to wave the flag, then go back to your home country, wave your flag there. You're going to be proud of where you're from, but you came to America for a reason. When I was shooting God's Not Dead, we'll get to that movie in a bit too. 2020, no, it's 2016. Oh, when was it? 2012. Oh my God, it's so long already. Obama was running for a second term against that amazing Mitt Romney. And we were filming. If you watch that movie, I die at the end of the movie. Well, while I'm laying on the ground in the middle of the street in Baton Rouge, we had a rain machine. The raindrops are way too big. But we're laying on the street. The final tally came, it's 2 o'clock in the morning that Obama got reelected. People ran out of the bars that were around that street we're on, screaming 4 more years of free stuff. That's what they were saying. That was the importance of having this guy elected. So these 25-year-olds don't have to work anymore. I looked at the camera and I said, kill me for real. I said, there's got to be kidding me. America's government was founded around Christian values. The men that formed this country were all God-fearing gentlemen. There weren't other values or morals for these men who founded this incredible, incredible nation, pledging their lives. They knew they were committing treason. They knew if this didn't happen, they would all be hung. It was as simple as that. But they pledged their lives to defend the simple, simple promise of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And those come from the Bible. There's been a huge change in this country over 250 years. The United States of America has become more divided, more secular. The damage of our political system of government is going to be played out every day in the media. And by the way, if you think you've got a conforming progressive Hollywood type at this event, you know that's not true. So I'm not politically correct. I used to be on that show. I did that Bill Maher show like 4 times. Interesting. He's coming around. Do you see him? Some things? He said, don't send your kids to American universities. I thought that was pretty interesting because he sees how crazy it's all coming. The thing is, he's a JFK Democrat who would be a Republican today. Go back and watch that 1960 inauguration speech. There's not a Democrat who talks that way. There's not anywhere. Ask not what your country can do for you, what you can do for your country. Is there even that many Republicans talking that way? It's scary. I just, like I said, I do a lot of posting. I posted a lot, quite a bit. And I got taken down, of course, on Facebook. I had 4.1 million followers. They took me down 3 years ago. Zuckerberg and his little minions. And now, of course, he's done a 180 because Trump's in office. And now he's like, no, we're not going to, well, give me back my 4.1 million followers. You know? What a joke. COVID, I think what took me down, I put on COVID, I said, if you want to get rid of COVID, tell the Clintons COVID's got something on them. It'll be the first virus to mysteriously commit suicide. Be amazing. So the truth is intolerant of a lie. Many would rather keep their heads in the sand. It's like they're like little kids in Hollywood. Or even the liberals as a whole. They plug their ears and go, la, 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 la. I think that's why they call it La La Land. Because it's what it is. It's just crazy. Proverbs 9:10 says, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And that's the only person we're supposed to fear. We're not supposed to fear anything else. People need to stand up. I'm going to wake up the lions out there. The sheep are going to be sheep, guys. You're the lions. Don't be afraid. Who cares? We have to fight back. We got to leave a great country to the kids and our grandkids. We have to. My kids are awesome. They're fighting big time. But for those fighting for culture depravity in this country, which they are, it isn't God that they fear. They ignore God, they deny God, they resent God. The problem with Hollywood and the mainstream media is they think they're God. Trust me, I know. I played one of them in a movie called God's Not Dead. Did people see God's Not Dead? You should see that movie if you haven't seen it. That little movie and the support you guys gave it, we shot it for $2 million. I made $140 million. I didn't own it. I wish I owned it. Pureflix made all the money. I did not. But in God's Not Dead, the college professor character that I played was fun for me. People have asked me, how could you play that character that, you're a Christian, you're conservative? I said, because it's written so well. And it has redemption. If that character had no redemption, I probably wouldn't want to do that character. But there's redemption. To me, that was a positive thing, saying a negative thing. My mother even called me afterwards. She said, I really didn't like you in that movie. I said, well, then they did a good job. I know guys like that. I've met them. There's people who are presidents of atheist clubs, and you see them on TV and CNN. Their veins are sticking. They're so angry about that. Oh, there's a nativity scene, And I go, when did you get that upset about the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus then, too? I'm so mad about something I don't believe in. I don't believe in broccoli. You guys can knock yourself out. Don't care. The secret of that character is so well written because first you just hate him. He has nothing but his arrogance, his intellect. Even as flawed by the hatred he harbors for an all-powerful God that he doesn't believe in. And something happens to him. The student that I torment, Josh, the college student, says, what happened to you? I tell him the story about how my mother died when I was a kid. I prayed all the time to God.
And she still died. And part of me, for me reading that, I could see why, as a young kid, you grow up fostering that sort of thing. The seed was set. Because everybody told him. He went to the funeral. Everybody said, God says this. He goes, no, God didn't help her. Didn't save her. But that happens to a lot of people. And that's what kind of when it gets you. It's called a crisis of faith. Sound familiar? I'm very familiar with the crisis of faith. I already told you I wrote a book about true strength. I'm going to tell you a little bit about that part of my life. So I was filming a TV series, Hercules, down in beautiful New Zealand. That's where we shot for 7 years. And God touched me right up here, my left shoulder, my left subclavicle. I was having all kinds of problems with my left arm. I couldn't figure what was going on. My arm was killing me. I was hurting. I was throbbing. These fingers were cold. And I was like, what's going on? I mean, I was doing like 95% of my own stunts. I was a jock, football, basketball, all those things. And I did the stunts because my ego said that I could, and I enjoyed doing it. And I had great stunt guys that made me look like a stud. And it was just fun for me. So I called my doctor back in L.A., and I said, I don't know what's going on. He said, you may have smashed your ulnar nerve. Happens to sports, athletes, hockey players, and it just creates those sensations, but I couldn't quite figure what was going on. So we're at season 5 of Hercules. I head back to America. And we had a big publicity campaign set for my first big budget movie. It's called Kull the Conqueror. Kull, in the books, he's the father of Conan. Arnold Schwarzenegger played Conan. Even though he's older than me, apparently I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger's father. So I get back to L.A., I do all the talk shows. I'm on Letterman, Leno. I'm traveling all across the country, all kind of publicity. My arms are bugging me. I'm up in Boston, and the publicist was me. I said, you know what? This thing's getting worse. I'm a little bit nervous about it. So I sent a doctor to my hotel room there in Boston. He gets to my room. His name was Dr. Die. D-Y-E, but I don't care. I told him, change your bloody name. Take your mother's maiden name, whatever. Dr. Die. There you go. That's where you want to go talk to. So he says, I think it's cardiovascular. We should get this checked out. So I get back to LA. I go to my doctor in Beverly Hills. Of course, I had a doctor in Beverly Hills. So he was a good doctor. And he finds a lump way up here. And he kind of freaks me out. We got to do a biopsy on that. And I said, and I joke. I said, dude, I'm Hercules. What do I need as a doctor? You know. But I was a little bit nervous about it. The next day, I go see my chiropractor. I'm laying on the table. I've been going to this guy for 8 years. And a voice inside my head said, don't let him crack your neck. I thought, that's weird. He's never cracked my neck. Never. I don't like my neck cracked. If I see a chiropractor for the first time new, if I'm down in New Zealand, I say, don't crack the neck. Everything else, crack away. Leave the neck alone. Okay. Voice goes, don't let him crack your neck. Louder. Repeating it. I'm arguing with the voice when the doctor unwittingly did the thing that ultimately changed my life forever. He cracked my neck, and I suffered 4 strokes. It was an aneurysm. It was right there, slowly shifting off blood clots into my arm and into my finger, suffocating the flow of the blood. Doctors call it retrograde flow for that quick second. Boom. So 3 strokes. The 1 stroke disappeared quickly when my wife, my not soon-to-be wife, or 4 months from our wedding, rushed me to the ER room at Cedars. And the voice, my voice came back, my talking came back. I was pretty nervous. Like that. And that one dissolved. But the other 3 lodged themselves in. And so those 3 strokes left over 3 years of hell for me. Dizziness, nausea, palpitations, loss of sight, loss of balance. The balance was tough. It took me 4 months to learn how to walk and balance again. I realized in my 30s I was in better shape than I'd been in my entire life. And it was just weird to push myself through this. Now, as I told you before, I had faith, but I never needed faith until I was hit with this incredible challenge. So I prayed. And I prayed a lot. I think that's what many of us do. I know everybody's got a story. We all got stories. But many of us, you know, maybe we don't pray, but when we do, maybe we have to wait till something bad happens in your life. We rail, we scream, we panic, we cry, we blame God, we blame a God who won't believe in, blame family, friends, the world. When the reality is you got to look in the mirror. That's where it starts. You got to have that talks with yourself. You reach out to God and say, heal. Please heal me. It's sad, though, to think that it takes a roadblock that has to be the catalyst to bring us closer to God, when in reality, he just wants us to be talking to him all the time. Doesn't matter what the thing is. I mentioned I was raised in a Lutheran church. And as a child, I went to church every Sunday. It was very important. Mom, Dad, you got to go, got to go. The pastor scared the hell out of me, which I thought was pretty funny, because I remember seeing a sign on one of the churches I was traveling. I can't remember what state I was in. They have little billboards outside the church. Read the Bible, it'll scare the hell out of you. And I thought, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. And Pastor Sanders scared the hell out of me because everything was hellfire and brimstone. Breathing was a sin. I mean, this guy, it was just weird. When I was about 7, 8 years old, I would notice. I started watching, but when we're singing the hymn that leads into him to get up and get to the pulpit to his sermon, he would always put his head up against the wall and the brick wall behind him. But his eyes were open. He'd just be looking up at the ceiling. So when I got to be the acolyte, I got to wear the miniature pastor robe. And I got to light all the candles. And I got to sit up in the miniature pastor pew with him. I thought it was so cool. All those suckers out there in the pews. And sure enough, he's at him before he does his sermon. He got his head up against the wall. And I look up and I said, Pastor. He says, what is it, my child? I said, you do that all the time. He goes, well, what's that? I said, you put your head against the brick wall, but you just look up at the sky. What are you doing? He said, well, my son, I'm praying to God, and I'm asking him to help me give a good sermon. I look at him, I said, so why doesn't he help you? I thought I was in trouble. He told my parents. We got home, my dad was laughing. Kids say the darndest things. They speak the truth, as far as I could see at 8 years old. But it was a great shock when my foundation of faith was shaken by the illness at the very core of my brain. Let me tell you, God and I had some long, tough talks during that time. Because my career was taking off. They were actually gearing. After Call, I had another movie to shoot before moving back to LA New Zealand to shoot season 6. And all of a sudden that was taken away to shoot that next movie. Because they were gearing me up to take over Schwarzenegger at Universal, to be the next action guy. So it was brutal, and psychologically as well as physically. And it often seemed like he wasn't listening to my complaints, like he didn't care. And as you saw in the quick video earlier, I wrestled with God, and I tell people, don't wrestle, because he wins. He's got a great takedown. It's not going to... Because my faith was tested by my illness that I could have never imagined. If it wasn't for the power of prayer and my wife, Sam, with her tough love, because I don't know if I would have gotten through it. A miracle really is that I met my wife a year before my strokes. And she was a tough New Yorker, Pittsburgh gal. And whenever I got down, she said, Kevin, it happened. What are you going to do about it? Tough love. And it pushed me because I was a strong-willed person. She gave me a mantra to say every day, look in the mirror every bloody day and say, I'm getting better, I'm getting stronger. Because I think when you're positive in your life, better things happen than talking negative. Just be positive with yourself. Because I really don't know how I would have survived without her constant nagging. You know, her overwhelming positive attitude about everything. She would contradict all my self-pity and just shoot me right down. Because she believed in my recovery when I couldn't see it, and she reassured me whenever I doubted. It was a life-changing epiphany to recognize God isn't there to make problems go away, but he sure is there to help you get through them. As Jesus prayed in the Garden of Gethsemane, Father, if you are willing, take this cup from me, yet my will be yours be done. God needed to empty me out in order to fill me up again. It's good news. His message was filling me. And I'll tell you that my career took a completely unexpected twist after that illness. So I used to get stopped at airports, malls, hotels, wherever it may be. People saying, I love you in Hercules, I love you in Andromeda, whatever it is. 90% of the time now when I get stopped because of what if. God's not dead. Let there be light. Abel's Field. Miracle in East Texas. That's what people stop me for now. And I realize I'm on the road I'm supposed to be on. It's the toughest thing, as Dean will say, along with me, for independent movies, is raising money for these independent movies. Because we do shoot $2 or $3 million budgets. Sounds like a lot of money. That's catering budget in Pirates of the Caribbean. Those are $300 million movies we're competing against, with $100 million advertising budgets. And look at the movies they're putting out there. Look at Walt Disney said in the 1950s, movies and television will influence our youth. That was in the 50s, for good or for bad, and he knew it. And Hollywood's using it as a weapon right now to destroy our kids, to break up families. That's what they love to do. I'm at my office one day, my home office, still in LA, And I get a call. I pick up the phone. Hello. Sorbo, it's Hannity. What surprise, he had my phone number. I've done every Fox and Fox business you can think of. And so I figured he had my number. I've been on a show a dozen times. He said, I love that movie, God's Not Dead and Soul Surfer. Do you have something like that? I said, actually, I got a really good movie called Let There Be Light that my wife just wrote. It's a phenomenal script. So he says, fly to New York and pitch it to me. I said, can I just tell you right now? She's in her office downstairs. We'll get her up here. Get on the plane. He hangs up. It's Hannity. There's no patience with the guy. So we fly to New York. We get to his radio office, and we're up there on the 30th floor, whatever it was, and he says, all right, tell me what you got. So 4 miracles happened. The first one, for 30 minutes, we pitched him. 30 minutes, we pitched him from beginning to end of the movie. The miracle, he did not interrupt one dime. Hannity didn't interrupt it. Second miracle, turns around, comes back a checkbook, writes a check. Miracle number 2. Writes the check. Boom. Third miracle, Dean will appreciate this. He says, I know nothing about movies. I don't need daily reports, or what do you call them, dailies? I said, yes, they're called dailies. I don't need to see that. I don't want you to send pictures. When the movie is done, ready to go in the theaters, then send it to me. And I said, Sean, you're my most favorite executive producer I've ever met in my entire life. My entire life. So the movie's done. I call him up. Dean, movie's done. We got some distribution, got a little bit of money. We can get it up in theaters. He goes, we'd love to come to Fox in New York and show it to all the people at Fox. He goes, no, I don't care about them. Just send it to me. So he sent it to him. He calls us 3 days later. He says, are you recording this? I said, I'm not Nixon. I'm not recording anything. He says, don't tell anybody this. I tell everybody this. He says, your movie made me cry. I said, Sean, that means you have a soul. People don't think you have a soul. This is a good thing. Let There Be Light opens. Here's a $2.3 million movie against $300 million Thor Ragnarok. In 2018, we open up number 2 per screen average. Isn't that amazing? I get a call from Netflix Monday after opening weekend. We want to open an inspirational division here at Netflix, and we want you to run it. I'm excited. So I go into Netflix. I was still living in L.A., go in their beautiful offices, paved in gold there in Hollywood, and had a great meeting. Go back a month later, another great meeting. Go back a month later, meeting. Fourth meeting, I realized, oh my God, they're going to do anything. Their ideology is so hateful against anything that is God or faith or family. And I told them, I said, I can't believe you guys are, I was 12 people from Netflix in this room. I stood up and I said, your ideology is crazy. You can scream socialism all the way. You are a capitalist business. And I think your boss likes the billions of dollars he's making. And you still won't do anything. I can tell half that room agreed with me, but they're too afraid to speak up. So nothing happened. Every movie I've been doing since about 2016, I get an actor, a camera guy. I get somebody walking up to me and say, hey, thanks for being a voice for us. I go, be a voice for yourself. Wake up. Stop being afraid. Well, then I'll get blacklisted like you. And I said, you're here doing a movie with me right now. You know, maybe Hollywood doesn't call me anymore. Maybe I could have a much bigger career. I know I could have if I towed the line, but I got tired of it. I was very vocal. I was vocal back. I remember 2008. I was at the Emmy Awards, and we're walking to the governor's ball to have dinner afterwards, and Tom Selleck puts his arm around me. He goes, you got to tone it down. I said, tone what down? He goes, I'm hearing your name around certain places. In 2008. I said, I've always been a conservative. By the way, the first time I could vote was in 1980. I voted for Ronald Reagan in Minnesota. My parents were beside themselves. They were Hubert Humphrey, Walter Mondale Democrats. How could you not vote for Jimmy Carter? I said, that is probably going to be the worst president we've ever had. Until Obama and Biden came along, I was right. Carter was horrible. I'm sorry. He was horrible. And I could see that as a young kid. Never got to meet Reagan. Very upset about that. The last 10 years, we lived in Westlake Village. Before leaving, we were 6 miles from the Reagan Library. If you've never seen it, please go see it. It's always packed. Always packed. It's amazing. It's great. So I love doing the movies that I'm doing right now because I know it makes a difference in people's lives. We get emails every day at Sorbo Studios, every day at the site. And it really happened for me with God's Not Dead. I was at the airport in Salt Lake City with my wife and kids. We just had done skiing for a week. up there in Park City. And this woman walks up to me with a little 7, 8-year-old daughter. Beautiful woman, beautiful little kid. And I could tell, look, I said, yeah, Middle East looks Middle East. Then she spoke, I could tell Middle East accent, heavy accent. And she said, are you Kevin Sorbo, the actor from God's Not Dead? And I said, just for today, yes, I am. She said, I saw your movie, God's Not Dead. I'm a Muslim from Iran. I became a Christian because of your movie. That's when I knew that the road I was on was the right road. Jesus calls on all of us to make disciples of all the nations, inviting everyone to join the body of Christ, which is the church. But in America today, people of faith have been cowed to accept a politically correct lie from the depths of you-know-where. Christianity is under attack in movies, TVs, DVDs, mainstream media, now our own government. Of course, the internet is really the Wild West. It really is. There's evil lurking all the time for these little kids out there. A few years ago, my wife actually developed a faith-based TV show called The Miracle Man. We pitched it around. We actually sold it. And we pitched it as, it's not touched by an angel, this is punched by an angel. It's about the life of a lifetime service guy that now he's out, he's retired. I was going to play the character. He's agnostic. He's not atheist, not agnostic, but things happen to him. He just sees a sign, visit Albuquerque, and for some reason he just goes and something happens. It was a wonderful story. It wasn't soft, it wasn't weepy like Touched by an Angel. Actually, in the very first movie, I'm segueing, the very first movie of Hercules, we did 5 movies before we began a series. Anthony Quinn played Zeus. I got a whole year with Anthony Quinn. It was awesome. But Roma Downey was in the very first movie, playing the Queen of the Amazons at 5'2". And she's married to Mark Burnett. We got invited to go to one of his, what is that called? The Voice, right? So I got backstage. Mark Burnett walks in. He goes, Roma says you're so much fun to work with, blah, blah, blah. And I looked at him. I said, yeah, Mark, before she was touched by an angel, she was touched by Hercules. And I said, oh, don't put a hit on me, man. It's meant as a joke. It's meant as a joke. But we're pitching this to a studio. I won't name the studio. And after we pitched this idea of this series, Miracle Man, one of the women looks at me and she says, Kevin, I get it. You got a big foot in this industry, in the whole faith world, in the family world for movies and stuff like that. But she goes, my faith, I don't know. My faith, it's over there somewhere. And I understand why people want to see movies like this. I just don't know why they want to see movies like this. That's the battle we have to fight with these people and that craziness. Is that for me? Do you got a documentary playing there right now? Ladies and gentlemen, as I said before, we have a crisis of faith in this country. The real crisis is people don't even know they've lost their faith. They have no idea. Her faith was over there sitting on a shelf. What good is it? What good is faith if it sits on a shelf? God isn't some kind of shopping center that, like Amazon, you just dial up when you want something from him. Now, I had the pleasure at the Reagan Library, which I brought up earlier, to meet Justice Antonin Scalia. He came to speak. Gary Sinise had set it up, and it was phenomenal. I don't know, he passed away not long after that, so it's got to be like 2015 or 16 or something. And this is a quote that the late Justice said. God assumed from the beginning that the wise of the world would view Christians as fools, and he has not been disappointed. If I have brought any message today, it is this. Have the courage to have your wisdom regarded as stupidity. Be fools for Christ and have the courage to suffer the contempt of the sophisticated world. Those are wise words from the greatest minds that ever served on our Supreme Court. So the question remains, are we willing to be fools for Christ? Are you all willing to profess what today amounts to stupidity if you stand up for your morals, your beliefs, or does faith sit over there separate and not involved in our lives? Scalia unlocked the key to faithfulness, which I believe is the key to happiness, and that's conviction. It is conviction that he prescribed for all of us. It's the conviction of the film God's Not Dead that helped that young woman at the airport see the truth. That light was not hidden under a barrel. And conviction is what is required from each one of us. And I think what is lacking to a large degree in the broader community with regards to faith and Christianity I also believe the biggest killer in the world today is apathy. I get so many people say, oh, what can I do? We let the government just kick us around all the time. Thank God people in this room are fighting back, because we got to fight back. People are looking for something. They're looking for something. We are a culture of seekers, and I know what they're looking for. They're looking for the truth. They've been sold a bunch of lies. They're craving the truth. And we have the ability to provide that with them for where we stand, politically, spiritually. Don't let your belief or your life sit on a shelf, because every soul matters. If we hope to be blessed as a nation under God, if we hope that that's going to happen, we must get back to our convictions. All it takes is that first step. One of my favorite poems, Robert Frost, The Road Less Traveled. I know you're well aware of it. I think Jesus was the first person to walk that road less traveled, and I want to make that road a superhighway. And with your help, we can do that. So, I'm telling you all to be fools for Christ. I want to thank you for this evening. So God bless you. God bless America. I'm Kevin Sorbo, and I approve this message. I got to prove my wife came here to speak, not to golf. So that's proof. I'm right here. I do. Sit. There's a couple things I want to pass on to you. I left like one or two things at your tables. One is this Norwegian cruise that I'm doing. Can we put that up there? Is it up? Can you put up the is it up? Oh, there it is. I didn't know we could see myself right there. MRC runs by Brent Bozell. You guys know Brent, and I did it last year with him, and we went through the Grand Turks and the Dominican and Puerto Rico, all those things. It was amazing. It was the first time they brought actors in to speak, because they know where I stand. It's always political people. This is a partial group of some of the people coming here end of August and into September. If you guys want to check it out, there's a discount at the very top that still applies, $150 off for each person, but it's amazing. It's amazing. You'll get an amazing trip as well. And it's, you know, we got some great speakers coming in. So I hope you guys check it out. If you want to join us, I'm looking forward to it. The other one, can you throw the other one up there? There's one more. Here you go. My wife and I, every year, we always take a group of people to Israel. Last year, the war broke out, so we didn't go. This year, people are still nervous about it. So instead of walking the footsteps of Jesus, we're going to go through Greece, and we're going to walk in the footsteps of Paul. And I'm just putting it out there. I think we got room for 6 more couples. It is filling up quick. But I'm just throwing it out there if you want to check it out. It's going to be amazing. You can get all this information at sorbostudios.com. And everything's on there. I hope you guys would sign up. We keep the date. I've got 4 new movies coming out this year and 3 documentaries. So I'm still very busy. I'm shooting a movie in India this year. I got another movie that I'll be directing in Oklahoma. It's a faith-based movie. Got a wonderful documentary coming out Easter. I'm saying this because I had more than one person ask me what's coming up this year. Got a wonderful documentary coming out. Deals with the Last Supper, and it's called Eating with the Enemy. And it's from Ingenuity Films. I had the #1 documentary with them 2 years ago called Before the Wrath. I have a couple of those out on my table right now. Before the Wrath deals with the second coming. And I love these documentaries. Another one's called Against the Tide. Spent 3 weeks in Oxford, England with John Lennox. He's an apologist, a retired math professor. He's debated all the great atheists of the world, some Dawkins, Hitchens, Singer. And we spent 3 weeks in Oxford, 2 weeks in Israel together. And it's proving God in the world of science. I call it apologetics for dummies like me. And it's wonderful, wonderful documentary. So I hope you guys will check it out. God bless you guys. Have a great evening.
Everybody motivated? Everybody went to church this morning, I hope. I missed it. My pastor's here, too. I have to apologize. The Norwegian cruise with Brent Bozell. Brent was here last October as a speaker, and so we love him and support that organization very strongly. I've got to thank our dinner committee, Carol Wielden, Donna Tanner, Bill Britton, Pauline Bruno. And Pauline, could you be making your way up here? Pauline, where are you? Okay. She's going to do the raffle drawing, so don't leave until you know that you haven't won. I also need to thank our volunteers, the people that checked you in, the people that hosted you, escorted you, and so on. We've had Marge and Peggy and a bunch of great ladies helped with all of that hosting. Yeah, shh, please. So we'll do the raffle drawing. You want to ask Kevin to pull the... Yes, I do. Okay. So the first one is the Kevin Sorbo signed Hercules poster.
All very exciting. There we go. There you go.
Okay, I don't have my glasses on.
Okay.
Wait, don't go. We have more.
Willie Chu. Next will be the President Trump commemorative. Greg Thompson. Or no, Gary Thompson. I'm sorry, Gary, where are you? Next is a case of Trump wine, which is right out here. Bill Taylor. Bill Taylor. And finally, a foursome at CCNC and Kevin Sorbo. Kevin Sorbo. Neil Jackson.
Oh, wow.
Thank you very much.
Can I do my little
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Just my little thing.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, isn't it a great day to be a conservative? And isn't it great that we have Donald Trump in our White House? Thank you.
Okay, now we're going to retire the colors, have a benediction, and then God Bless America will be sung by Alina Cherkasova, an opera singer from the Ukraine. Retirement of the colors, please. Thank you, gentlemen. I'd like to call Bill Damastis up to say the benediction for us. And
Ooh, the lights are dim up here for an old man. Before I pray, I would like to thank one more time all of those